let me tell you why I'm a good economist. Of the many, many reasons. One thing, one, I don't give a fuck about your feelings. So I have the balls to say, if you want to increase economic growth, make your women thinner and ladies start having sex. I have no problem saying it because it's true. Regular mere mortal economists hand their hand tied behind their back and say, lower interest rates. Oh, is it still 1947? I see you're stuck in, what would that be? Was that the Truman administration? Is John Maynard Keynes still alive? Oh, yeah, stay there. I don't need no competition. But the other thing is, here's where I don't have a scientific black and white answer. But intuition, instinct, gut feeling, right? Over the millions of years of human evolution, you just kind of something's off about this, because I sense a great disturbance in the force. And there's a spectrum, right? I've said once is a singularity, twice is coincidence, 3 times is a trend. And one of the reasons that I can kind of predict things, something's going to happen here, oftentimes decades in advance, is I look at, I'm like, that's odd. That is odd behavior. That didn't happen 2 years ago. That didn't happen a year ago. Why is that happening? So you got instances, anecdotal bits of evidence. Oh, this crazy, zany stuff. That's why Alex Jones actually kind of, he's willing to go there. He'll take any little thing and make it, but he's at the forefront. He has the balls to point out whatever. They're putting fluoride in the water and they're making the freaking frogs gay. All right. Well, he'll talk. You're not going to get Dudley Do Right over at the Hoover Institution. Economist, PH, Professor Fuckwitz, as much as we love him, Professor Fuckwitz of economics at the pristine nonprofit think tank, he's not going to talk about frogs being gay or women being fat having any kind of effect on economic growth. But if you're willing to go out there, you're willing to be Daniel Boone and go be a pioneer, you'll find some shit. And you're like, hey, this is some ain't right, or some is right, something's different. And then after a little bit of time, more and more people do it. And this is where pop culture, I hate to say it, or society is a better indicator than an economist's forecasts. And so when I see kind of like, oh, that's different. Oh, we're doing ninja loans? What are ninja loans? No income, assets, or job. That's not good for the housing market. Shut up, you fascist. You don't know anything. Said every boomer banker ever, right before they got their asses spanked by reality. And so maybe not as far in the fringes as Alex Jones, but I have no problem. Like, hey, you notice this odd behavior? And sometimes, usually the odd behavior is just a further degeneration, a further deterioration of humanity. Hey, look, the black guys are wearing the pants between their knees and their ball sack. Oh, that's not a good sign. Hey, single moms are all the rage. Oh, look, everyone's obesity is going up, right? And generally, we go downhill because that's how gravity and laziness pulls. But this is a little bit of good news. And so I had an observation, but I have no data. I have no empiricism. But I think it was Mark Magano. We were in the super chats yesterday. Who are we talking? I got my notes here. Someone, who was it? It was one of the regulars. God dang it. I should have remembered to give proper credit. And he said, you're not supposed to take women on dates, which is going to be part of another video on what type of dates you should take women on in 2025. But I had to kind of defend women a little bit, the younger ones, Gen Z, because I said, yeah, I don't know, because there's no data, but I'm starting to see signs that the younger women, they're not swallowing whole this feminist man hatred, America hatred, ultimately woman hatred. They're not swallowing the feminist propaganda whole anymore. They're not necessarily, they'll still, there's just little bits and blips. But one, it's very slow, is the rate of change, right? We went from a positive first derivative of the trend. Now we're at a negative. The ship is turning, and it's ever so slight, but women are going to school less and less. Yes, the majority of people who attend school are women, college, I mean. And boys have been dropping out faster. It's because, sorry, men are a lot more street smart on this one. We're just smarter on you on this one, ladies. But even women are like not going to college anymore as much as they used to. It's a very barely perceptible decrease, but it is. It's like, ain't that interesting? As it is on the sex war, I see more and more, and you gotta sift out, right, the posers and the grifters from the reals. You get rid of the trad wife fad of 2-3 years ago, you know, that blonde gal with the big boobs. Like, oh my God, I just love staying at home and making cookies. Like, I appreciate your hustle. I appreciate your salesmanship. I know what you're doing, but it isn't real. But I'm starting to see, especially in light of the cost of living, outsourcing jobs, AI, all this other stuff, women are starting to, hey, this is bullshit. And I cannot help but conclude that this trend, whether it's girls doing more home ec type of stuff on the internet, legit homesteading type of things, a slow decrease in women attending college, bits and pieces of social media people like Pearl. She's been around for a while. But you go back 10 years ago, you wouldn't have this. There's little green shoots, to borrow an economic term, of something happening here. Those little green shoots weren't coming out of the ground 5 years ago, but there they are now. And I don't know if that's going to be a trend. I doubt within the next 10 years, you're going to have a bunch of June cleavers lining up to cook you guys cookies and give you a BJ before you go to the office. They're not just swallowing whole the feminist doctrination, philosophy, order, religion, cult that they used to. And I gotta conclude because if these younger look, you can only lie to young people for so long, right? And not just feminism. The adults for the past 3 generations have been lying to kids since the boomers. Since about the 1960s to 1970s, they've been lying to you kids about how the real world works. Maybe not maliciously, maybe not consciously, but they've been giving you the wrong information. And that can work for a while if your lies are sweet enough. Hey, you can eat all the chocolate in the world and your teeth will be just fine. You can eat all the cake in the world and you won't get fat. It's basically the Democrat sales point is you get the young, dumb, and stupid to come in free shit and nothing bad is going to happen. And then they can't connect it to inflation. You can get them. You could sell them on that for a while. And they will not only vote that way, but they'll make life choices, right? My generation, follow hard money will follow. Millennials, right? You guys are the poster child for what happens to a generation when your parents lie to you. I mean, and not just your parents, but the adults in your life lie, basically turn you into slaves, right? You enriched a bunch of Democrat, leftist, socialist professors and academics, right? And then you went on and then you enriched the corporations by providing cheap labor and then dedicated loyalty because you're crippled with debt, right? And then what else? Oh, and then ladies, you gave them a lot of labor, right? Because you had a girl boss to the point they were paying you to freeze your eggs. Did any yellow flags go up at that time, ladies? Did any of you stop and think? But and God, I'm so happy I'm alive in this time. If it was 20 years earlier, I wouldn't have made the thing. If it was 20 years later, I would have missed out. I love this internet. This internet has exposed basically the adult lies. Whether that's the first to go was the mainstream media with blogging, where you just saw, I'm sorry, I hate to be political all the time, but you have no idea how much the Democrats like the CCP. They are ubiquitous in the first half of your life. They're all over. Your parents are young, dumb, and full of, and they're making dumb leftist, dumb shit, work avoidant, responsibility avoidant decisions. You guys are in the schools and told puppies and cakes of flour and unicorn and bullshit. They They own you basically and give you the operating system and the philosophy and your value system. It's not until you like really about 40 you wake the fuck up. But that's going back in the olden days before the internet. Now we got the internet. The media, you don't fuck you. CNN, who listens to CNN? Rachel Maddow, who listens to that? There's an alternative explanation, alternative voice, an alternative narrative out there on the internet for people to see. And you can only borrow, like you can only be on steroids for so long, right, Rock? You can only borrow money for so long before it all comes crashing down. And I think when you look at the boomers failing, right, no one's visiting them, right? Everything if you followed Ruth Bader Ginsburg's advice, your life is fucking miserable now if you're of her age or a baby boomer. Everyone who followed the lies are fucking failing. The boomers are miserable and no one wants to hang out with them. And I still think to this day about half don't have enough for retirement. That's a different discussion. The millennials, oh, you guys, 80 fucking thousand shots of bullshit. What? I'll shoot up anything in my veins if it feels good. I mean, metaphorical, like you don't need no man and girl boss and do bro, and you need to be Democrat. You need to help people. You need to spend your money paying for other people's crotch fruit to live. You guy, oh my vote. Oh my God, Barack Obama. He's just your God and savior. And then look what happened to them. They're failing. And then I would think Gen Z now, especially, again, it's just carnage. It's like you're walking up in some kind of war and you come up over the hill and there's just all these millennial bodies dismembered and destroyed because they ran full head into a landmine field. And you got everyone behind you. You got these old ancient boomers telling you the same fucking bullshit they've been telling 3 generations now. Follow your hair money will follow. Oh, maybe you could cut your junk off. Maybe you're not straight. Maybe you're not a boy. Maybe you're not a girl. When it comes to the younger gals, I think it's almost undeniable that no matter how much women pout and scream and bang their fists on their table, these baby boomer and Gen X, all the feminists, all your elder sisters, whether it's your mother, your aunts, your grandmothers, they're all wrong, right? They're all wrong. I know this one gal, she's just this boomer lady who's like 3rd divorce and just trying to be the cool, hip grandma. It's not grandma, it's Nana. Nana. And she's like wearing not like slutty clothes, but like it's a little bit beyond fashionable. And like, I got a date. It's like, lady, what happened to your fucking family? Oh, that's right. You divorced them in the 80s. I think the younger ladies, they may not understand the underlying dynamics of having socialist policies, Democrat policies, replace the nuclear family with a government check. I don't think they go. They just look at the women who are older and saying, God damn, is their life a fucking wreck? Grandma is poor, living at home, having to live, living in the whatever. Okay, so the matriarch has fucking financial troubles and is miserable as our 3rd husband. Then you got your parents who likely got divorced, if not are miserable. And let's admit, mom was never fucking around because she was too busy girl bossing, Murphy Browning it all the time, which again, I'm all for women having careers and all that, but not when you got a fucking kid. One of you, the husband or wife, stay the fuck at home. Raise the goddamn kid. I even think young women and men understand the concept. Like, wow, you outsourced raising your kids? That's the hill I'll die on. Like, no, you're wrong. Someone should stay the fuck home and raise the kid. That right there, forget the politics behind it. Oh, we're going to send our kids to some rando, ideally state paid for, to raise so mommy can get back to work, to pay off her fucking bullshit degree. Right? That should be enough to break through the glass and slap people across the face a little bit, say, this is not right. I don't care how much these feminists pounded their fists. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're giving you the wrong information. And then I gotta imagine you'll never see it on the internet. All you'll see is like, oh my God, a day in the life of a Facebook marketing intern. So today, and I got my biscotti and all that other shit, right? But then these younger gals, they got older sisters, maybe they got some aunts, and they look like all of them are financially fucked. And even that lady doing there, it's debatable if she even works for it. They're just filming it to get clicks. And I think these gals are looking at, let's call it 3 generations. What would it be? Boomer grandmother, Gen X parents, maybe millennials, and millennial sisters or elder cousins and all that. And I gotta imagine Gen Z girls are looking at this shit and like, these women are all antidepressants. They're all fucked up. They all got financial troubles. Still got, dude, you're 15. You still got student loans? And you're bitching about, I need a student loan bailout. Like, think about the 20-year-olds like, whoa, whoa. 30 years my senior, you need a student loan bailout? What the fuck? I think they just look at you gals and they're like, God, you're miserable fucking people. And deep down inside, women want that special guy, right? Not 80% of you, maybe not even the next 15% of you. I guess Roland, Sartain, different guys are pointing. It's like, it looks like it's more like 5%. And I've seen the chart. But there is a guy, whether you girls are going to get him or not is a statistical unlikelihood. But you girls, you do want a guy, especially if it can be that one guy, the guy who's amazing and everything that you see on the television. So girls deep down inside still want a man, desperately want a man, but only that unique percentage of men. And especially when you're younger, that's genetics. You're not going to override. Like, you remember, ladies, here, let me help you out. More evidence. Remember that time, and by time, I mean like a fucking 6 months ago and the decade before that. Remember the past decade? We're women, because men aren't this stupid. Women were really trying to convince men that fat chicks were beautiful. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? You should, because it was 6 months ago. It was only 6 months ago. We had the Calvin Klein ad with 2 fat, fucking disgusting people wearing diapers. Go look it up. I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up. And you girls are like, ew. And then maybe politics is introduced when you girls get the Democrat soy boy menu asked for. When you get your whatever, Larry Sison. Although he's hitting the gym. Got to give him credit for that. Who's his opposite number who doesn't get laid? Anti-gun guy. It doesn't matter. Hogue, David Hogue. You girls get these guys. You're like, and now you got the internet that it like maybe explains a little bit. And I got to imagine there's enough intelligence and a lack of corruption so far, because you don't have a monopoly anymore, teachers. You don't get them at 5 years old. I mean, you get them at 5 years old. But there's the internet out there to provide alternative explanations. And now they're like, well, wait, what's wrong with being a stay-at-home mom? Show me a picture where Ruth Bader Ginsburg is smiling. Why is mom crying? Why is mom always pissed off? Why is grandma still acting like a slut like it's 1973? Why are my older sisters still living at home? Why is everyone on drugs? Why is everyone on antidepressants? God, that was, maybe dad was an asshole. Maybe mom convinced you your dad was this horrible person and he left, and that's why your mom got divorced. But shit, that sure the fuck wasn't fun, was it now? And I think young women, a certain percentage of them, are starting to really, they may not be lining up to go become stay-at-home trophy wives or the housewife and raise the kid, right? They're not all going to become like Allie or inevitably, I guess Pearl would become this, because I'm sure Pearl would like to be the same. But it's no longer verboten to say, well, you could be a stay-at-home wife. You could raise your kids. You could stop voting to give complete random strangers and criminals your money and your husband's money. And maybe if you had 25% more money, and that's the taxes you spend on the welfare state, you could maybe raise a family. It's not that bad. Because seriously, feminist, list it down below. What's your sales pitch? Where's your results, right? We've been doing this shit now for 3 generations. You've had this for 60 years. You've had the ear of young women like, hate men, get fat, be a bitch, vote to enslave your fellow countrymen and vote to have foreigners come in and just take over the place. Destroy, destroy, destroy. I know you wouldn't say that, but show me the upsell. Right? It's all feminist sales pitch has been fear, right? Oh my God, the patriarchy and men are gonna keep you down. And then the Handmaid's Tale goofballs that all dressed like that, which isn't happening. It's not happening. All right. You had fear. You got the stick. What about the carrot? What's the positive? And show me the result. Don't just say, because you could be a strong, independent girl boss. Show me where the girls are happy, not these fake TikTok shit. You show me. Didn't they? They did do that. They did. What was it? Antidepressant use or prevalence of mental illness among women based on age and political affiliation. And younger women who are Democrat, what was like a third have some kind of diagnosis or on some antidepressant. I'm not remembering the statistics very clearly, but it showed the data for those of you that are true believers in this feminist horseshit. Younger ladies, your elder sisters and your mothers who swallowed whole this feminist horseshit are on more antidepressants, are more miserable, and have more mental illness. I think I could safely say that. Right? But forget we don't even need to talk about the, do you want to become like your miserable fucking spinster mom? Do you want to become like your fat sisters? Do you want to be like Cinderella's stepmom and stepsisters? And comments are open, feminists, down below. Tell me the upside. Show me, look, this lady was really fucking happy. And she's not an anomaly. Like this happened and that happened and this happened and that happened. Because all I can see, like that might be positive is, well, more women worked. It contributed to GDP. And then they paid more in taxes. Oh, good. You helped contribute to corporate profits with lower wages. And you blew up the welfare state so we could take care. All of us now get to take care of irresponsible people's kids. Gradually, you number went up. You contributed to GDP. Good for you. You paid more in taxes, and then you outsourced your kids, right, to some rando ladies and guys maybe to raise your kids. There's more GDP. And I've done that in the book A World Without Men. Back out the broken window fallacy. Like, look at all the extra GDP. Look at how much the daycare is providing. I'm like, yeah, but you would have been doing that if you stayed at home and took care of the kids. So it's not all you managed to do was to double tax motherhood. That's all you were able to do. Because if you stayed home and raised your kid, well, then you don't get taxed on that, right? It's labor, but it's tax-free labor because you're serving yourself. But you, for whatever reason, commuting 2 hours round trip and going in debt perpetually for a master's degree, you went and worked, right? So you paid taxes on your income to pay the daycare people to do the mothering, which also have to pay taxes on their income. So you've double taxed motherhood twice. Show me where the fuck the happiness and joy is. Show me your tangible accomplishments and achievements that have improved women's lives. And I could be wrong. Maybe women in general, we've gone down this road before, just they're so uninterested in the average guy. They so like, look, I understand what you're saying. I don't like commuting. I don't like having to work for a living, but it beats living with a guy I don't really love. Okay, fair point. But don't be telling me you're happy. Don't be telling. And I think the younger gals are starting to catch on that it. I don't know why I didn't think, dude, they've been getting. Feminism isn't the only lie these girls have been told, right? The younger generations have been lied to about every fucking thing. Go to college, right? And you younger people know there's a student loan crisis with Gen Xers and millennials who shamefully have gray pubes now and are saying, I need a student loan bailout, but I'm not like a boomer. I don't like the boomers, but more young people's money, please. Right? You see that lie? Corporation, your job is the most important thing. Well, I'm sorry. Your politics is the most important thing about you. The most important thing about their politics is the way you were born. What? Because I got brown eyes and white skin, I'm somehow amazing, right? They fed you, right? Right? Especially the girls. They told, oh my God, you got a hole between your leg and not a stick. You're brave and amazing. What did you do to earn it? Nothing. You're half the fucking population. You're not special. What else? Oh, diversity is our strength. Yeah, fuck your culture. Fuck everything this country was founded on. Let everybody come on in and destroy them. We're going to race swap and gender swap and all that good shit that we kind of had that everybody really enjoyed, actually, regardless of race or ethnicity. Yeah, fuck it. It's all girl boss lesbian horse shit. You've been lied to about that. I'm trying to think. Well, you haven't been lied. Big is beautiful. That's bad for your health. You've been lied to. Your job is the most important thing. Your children don't need their parents. You've been lied to about every fucking thing. Oh, and now more modernly, you're lied to about your gender. Oh, you might be a girl because mommy needs to brag on social media. So it doesn't go beyond the pale that if you were lied to about literally everything that was really important in life, family, your purpose and meaning, your value, a value system, right? Let me tell you the value system. The value system is how much value you are to other people in society, right? Generally through your job. That's how you're compensated. But there's other ways. You could be a good dad. You could be a good mom. You could be community, right? Nope. It's voting for more free shit for people who hate you, according to the Democrat. That's it, right? You're supposed to be a Democrat because Democrats can't fucking win people. Why am I getting shot? Why are they burning down the buildings? Because of Trump. See, you're lied to about your everything important. Everything. So it shouldn't be a surprise. You girls were lied to about women's role in society or where you'd be happiest, right? Now, I'm a libertarian. I'm not everyone should be a stay-at-home wife. Not every woman should be a stay-at-home wife. Just isn't cut out that way, right? Some people, you're better off with it. Some people should have kids. Some people shouldn't. Some people should become cops. Others should become veterinarians. Okay. But generally speaking, I don't know if you knew about this thing called human evolution. I don't know if you noticed that stick A goes into hole B, and you girls got these things called boobs, and they're not just for fun. They might feed children. Maybe nature's trying to tell you something. Maybe there are some advantages and strengths you have, just as there are weaknesses and things you probably aren't suited up, right? You don't use an F-15 fighter plane to haul oil. That's a fighter plane. And you don't use a CK-135 for dog fights. They're two different specialized planes. But God damn, man, feminists are like, we should use F-15s for hauling oil. And then you wonder why you're all miserable and failing. You're denying your nature. Again, I don't want to say you are condemned. It's it's that claymation. I think it was Frosty the Snowman where the elf wanted to become a dentist. And all the other elves like, you can't become a dentist. You have to be an elf and work in Santa's shop. And he just wanted to become a dentist. I'm like, I'm for the individual. But, the elf going from working for Santa's workshop to becoming a dentist, that's possible. The elf, who is this, becoming a pole vaulter, probably not possible. And I'll tell you right now, a real way to make yourselves miserable, ladies, is trying to be a man because you suck at it. You're the worst people on the planet at being men. Have you noticed? You know who's really good at being men? Men. You know who sucks? You know who really sucks at being women? Men. Wait, not too good. I'm a shorter guy. I'm probably not a good I'm not a good basketball player. I can't get the ball on the hoop. I make a dribble and all. I'm not being hired by the NBA anytime soon, and I shouldn't be. You know how miserable my life would be if I kept trying to make it in the NBA and failing and failing and failing? All of a sudden, I'm like 50 years old and I got no money. Well, that'd be like being a SoundCloud rapper. Fuck. Your life is over. And I'm wondering, again, maybe not as articulate, maybe not as crystal clear and solidified in their minds, but I think the younger women are starting to realize, wow, the adults don't know what they're talking about a lot of things, but especially feminism. If I look at these, again, show me a happy feminist. I got that image. It's from girls doing rage rituals in the forest, right? These screaming rituals. Have you seen the femin protesters when they're topless? They're always angry and screaming. Those are the young ones. It's theater. It's for clicks, but do you girls see a happy TikTok girl who isn't fucking complaining? Where's the TikTok? Oh my God, I just made my husband a meal and then, oh, he dicked me down proper. I had the greatest orgasms ever. I love my husband so much. And now we're going to go kayaking. Do you hear any happy stories like that? No, you don't. You know why? Because they're all fucking miserable. It's an act. And I don't know. But the misery of these younger gals, feminist sisters and mothers, the misery is so obvious and painful. I think and it is in the larger context of elder generations lying to these younger people about everything. I think Gen Z in general might buck normal trends to conform and obey and be popular. But I think it might now, this is a long shot, but I think young women might even go against the beehive. They might go against the matriarchy, right? Dr. I'm going to call him Charlie Taliban because I keep forgetting his name. Psychax guy. Dr. Charlie Taliban. That's his new name until I write it down. He said, what do women want? And the answer is what other women want. That's it. It's a genius answer. But no matter how hard and how wired the genetics is in the longhouse to conform and obey and be in the do we all agree? Do we all agree? I think Gen Z women are like, no, I don't want that. I don't think they're all going to strike out on their own, but I think a new hive might form. And I don't think it's going to be, let's all go back to 1950s wearing a pearl and a dress and baking cookies for our children. But wherever the younger generation of women are going, which I don't think based on their trajectory is going to be miserable spinster, baby boomer, pissed away, wasted my life feminist. I don't think they're going that way. Nor do I think they're going to go, back in the kitchen. Let's make cookie. I don't think so. But thankfully, I don't think they're going to hate men as much. I think they're going to be more open and there's not going to be any shame in being a stay-at-home wife. Because I don't know, man. How could you look at women today in America, 30 plus, 30 to death, like, right? You're a younger gal. You're in your teens, in your 20s, or maybe you're still a kid. But thankfully, you should not be paying attention to this because you haven't hit puberty. You shouldn't care. You should go be a kid and enjoy your life. But teenagers and 20-somethings, they're looking at this and they're like, wow, that's a group of miserable people. That's a group of people who hated their lives, didn't really achieve anything, still have debt, follow their health, the money didn't follow. Dude, you know what? Because it was me. You know how much it sucks to be in your mid to late 30s and you still aren't financially stable? I'm sure you millennials can talk about that, right? Fucking sucks. Just to get by, just to make it out of Maslow's hierarchy of needs of food, clothing, shelter, then maybe you get to have fun at 40? No, I think these younger gals are going to do something else. I don't know what it is, but they are not all going to fully bow down to the altar of miserable feminist bitches and spinsters. I think they're going to maybe reintroduce, maybe I should go out with a guy or entertain the idea that it's okay to like a guy. I think a lot of them are like, yeah, maybe I do want to stay. There's nothing wrong with me wanting to stay at home and raise my children. This, I don't think, is going to result in some political upheaval where young women start to, well, wait, hang on, but if we got to stay at home, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. My husband needs to make as much money as possible. We got to get rid of the welfare state. So instead of giving money to random kids of the people who hate us, who will raise future children that hate us, maybe we should just keep that money within ourselves. Maybe we should give ourselves a 25% tax cut. Actually, it'd be a 67% tax cut because 2/3 of your money, generally, depending on state and local, goes to the welfare state, other people to take your money so that they can live and fucking hate you, maybe commit crimes against you. Oh my God, I love violent men. Sorry, getting dark now. It's getting very, very, very cynical, right? Um, I don't think these girls are like, "Oh my God," and that lie I looked up the federal budget. Did you know? I came up with an Excel this would be hot if a woman did this. Can you imagine a 23-year-old girl? I came up and looked at a budget. Did you know if we take out federal, state, and local taxes for the welfare state, and we give it to that you and I could afford, I could stay here and take care of the kids? Well, I'm gonna get my degree in accounting, and that way I can work from home and be sensible. You work your degree in engineering, and when the kids are a little bit older, I might join the National Guard, make a little bit of extra money, get some medical insurance and things like that, and will sensibly contribute to a full. Dude, that'd be hot. I don't think young women are going to get to that point where they're doing the actuarial numbers and auditing. Say, hey, these policies, the Democrats, they've been sneaky. They said free shit, but all it does is cause inflation. Oh my God. But if you'll permit me a little bit of good news, I think the sex war might tone down a little bit. I think Gen Z women are going to be like, oh, here's another reason the sex war is going to tone down a bit. The miserable women are dying off, right? That original brigade of baby boomer, spinster, feminist, man haters, they're dying. They're going away. The internet is also like pointing out the absurdity. Like when you see these girls doing rage thing, and all you Democrats in Chicago who keep voting for your own problems, you go and you rage by Lake Michigan. They're doing that now. They're yelling at Lake Michigan. Whatever you do, don't vote Republican. Like, don't have the cops. Don't get rid of the welfare state. You need to be good little Democrats because that's the values. Oh my God, I'm a Democrat. I'm sorry. Because what else would you do? Be a mom or a dad or a worker, contributing member of society? Oh, I voted to take their money and give it to them. Oh, what do you mean my money? Oh, it's my money. Huh. Why, you throw me in jail if I don't give you my money, but I voted Democrat. I love you. You guys basically made the government your most important fucking thing. That's your church. That's your life. You're so fucking stupid. Where was I going with the angry white people yelling at Lake Michigan? Where the hell was I going with that? I think when people see that, you're like, nah, not for me. They're gonna do again. I'll promote him here. Ryan Steva, the homestead consultant. He's got his wife. I think he's got 2 kids, maybe 3, and they just live on this nice little homestead park. He's got a freshwater spring. I think he's 85% efficient. Like he just barely has to work. Sit down, everybody. Everyone got their sitting down chairs? Here we go. Beauregard, fetch me my fainting couch. His wife raises the kids and helps with the house. Whoa! Ooh, scary. Nuclear family. Ooh, look out. Think she even hugs the kids and maybe they have a good loving time as a family. It's weird, man. It's weird. Dude, man. There's a girl over there who's raising her kids, man. Don't know what the fuck that shit's about. They should be like my mom, who I don't even know her name, and maybe she shows she got a new guy every 5 years, and gets the guy in the divorce settlement, and then she lets me live in her trailer, man. And he could grow up to be like me, fucking pothead loser, man, on disability. I'm blaming the Republicans, man. Anyway, yeah, I think they're going to do something else. Don't know what the girls. Hey, you know what? Interesting. Where do you think it's going to be? I don't mean, oh, what do you guys think? I actually do care what you think. Like, it ain't. I don't think it's going to be the full blown feminist shit. Because that's just not. They've hit right. They're like, oh fuck that. They're not going to go run into the kitchen and heels and oh my God, what can I do for you, Ward? Maybe they actually pursue them. Maybe they start thinking for themselves and pursue their own happiness. Maybe say, no, I want to do this. Maybe a lot of hobbies, like girls start getting into like, I looked into getting a honey hive, a beehive for honey, obviously. You know, they get into not the cookie cutter girl boss. I like to travel and party with my girlfriends. Like, yeah, I wanna get into croquet or these girls, whatever, right? They're gonna maybe they start becoming. Here's a hopeful one. All right, here I can't say where the final stop is of this new train girls I theorize gonna hop on. But I will tell you this, they will be more uniquely themselves. I think good news, they're not gonna be these NPCs like, "Oh my god, I vote Democrat," center, left, standard Democrat. "I wanna help the poor people and the people not white. Oh my god, and I'm gonna major in journalism." I mean, it's still gonna but there's gonna be less it's gonna be like, "No, I I didn't know what I wanted to do in college, so I just worked as a dog walker and a barista, and I saved up my money. I live at home, but yeah, I'm going to get a 16-month certification and becoming an X-ray tech." And then no, I'm trying to think of a hobby. I like gardening, right? You could I think Gen Z might these women might become uniquely independent-minded women where they're not just this NPC commons as blades of grass in Nebraska, cookie cutter. I majored in the liberal arts. I have my master's degree, and I vote Democrat, and I like to travel. You might actually get some human beings. There might actually be some interesting women with their own unique views and takes in life going on. And then the only thing I would implore the young ladies of today, because it's too late. If you're 35 and older, well, okay, 40 and older, you gotta worry about menopause, and it's too late. Your beauty's gone for the I'm sorry, if you would like to participate with men, because 'cause we're primarily interested in beauty, and once it's gone, it's kinda, eh. Then you gotta look at like a 60-year-old, and a lot of 40-year-old women don't wanna look at a 60-year-old, different discussion. Just wanna tell the younger ladies, you are 100% right. Your intuition is 100% right. Your elder sisters, whether it's your mother, your aunts, or a metaphorical elder sisters of the community, they are miserable. This is what is it? Boomers, X, millennials. Third generation of them going full bore feminism. Right? This doesn't mean you run back and get your foot in the kitchen or whatever. You should be majoring in wise things or going into the trades or looking at fields that pay. You should ignore all these other lies that my generation essentially is telling. Oh my God, get to work, master's degree. You got go look up the trend or the hashtag women with degrees and find out where all those women ended up because they all majored in dumb shit, right? You can still go to okay if it's for the right thing, nurse practitioner, doctor, accountant, whatever. Because let's say you have the kids, we're going to need something to do after the kids, right? But you don't have to be as miserable as the women that came before you. You don't have to be as miserable as feminists. You can be happy or content because happiness is a very hard thing to attain. But there's nothing wrong if you want to be a stay-at-home wife. There's nothing wrong if you want to, I don't know, become a mechanic or a plumber. There's nothing wrong if you're like, no, I don't want to go out and party and be that. There's nothing, here's what's sad. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth so you realize how much the older people in the feminist lie to you. There's nothing wrong being an attractive, thin woman who's beautiful without tattoos. There's nothing wrong with that. There isn't. But however you get there, and I don't want to tell you what to do. For the love of God, don't make the same mistakes the 3 generations of American women did before you. They are miserable. And not only they're miserable, what's worse is they wasted their fucking lives. I will make that judgment. I will. And no, ladies, I don't believe you for a second that you're happy. I really don't believe it for a second. Their lives are kind of over, right? Isn't it kind of sad if you're a 76-year-old woman, you're like, I'm going to go on a dating app. Like, what happened to your previous 3 husbands? None of them worked? I would avoid the landmine field where the millennial body parts are just blown up a strew. But there's that knight from the Monty Python, like, it's but a scratch. And it's like, dude, you made all the wrong choices. And no, I could take you socialism and the government being involved in our lives and paying for other people that isn't our family is the correct and moral right thing to do. It's like, no, it's over. Don't you get it? It's over. It's over. You're like 50 plus and you still believe in this feminist horse shit. And you actually have a value system that I don't need no man. Oh, I mean, you're not going to listen to me. You're half a century old. It's pretty cemented, your philosophy. Enjoy the remaining 25 years of your life. It's going to be miserable. But for you younger people, and this goes generally for younger people, men and women, for you gals, you don't have to be that miserable. You don't have to be that miserable. I'd recommend maybe you go out with a guy. Just, if a guy asks you on a date, don't look if he's got the right shirt. Look at his face. Does he look like, maybe you could sleep with them, right? Because you got to be physically attracted and go on the date. Don't stand him up. Start there. It's okay. Like, I love my husband. He's the center of the universe, as is my family. And then all the pissed off, miserable feminists, like, you pick me. Oh my God, you succumbed to the picture. That's fine. Get dressed up, go on a nice date. He takes you out for dinner. Kids are at the daycare, not the daycare, the babysitter. Whatever. You do you. All right. And look, no matter which choice you make, as long as you do you, like what you intellectually honestly want deep in you won't regret it. You won't be as miserable as these people. I mean, you're not gonna have the perfectly no one's have the perfectly happy life, but at least you won't have regret when you're older. You're not gonna be some 78-year-old feminist spinster miserable person trying to rationalize in their head why their miserable lives, like why they're perfectly why their miserable lives. Why? What was that life about? I just me, feminist ladies, but instead of the tattoos and getting fat and ridiculous hair colors and going into debt, what if you just hit the treadmill, stayed in shape, and maybe had some orgasms in the kitchen while the kids played away with the guy you liked? Am I missing some? He might leave it. I don't want it. Okay. That's you go on team miserable. We're going to be on team orgasm. Which team you guys? Comment down below. Which team would you like to be on? Team orgasm in the kitchen or team miserable feminist spister bitch? Which one? Oh, anyway, link below. What do I got? Link below. I think I got the menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex, because half of marrying age women are forecasted not to get married because you've been told to like go work and pay taxes and raise other people's children through your taxes. So there's that. And then I don't know, Betchapat Economics. You guys want to get your finances together? Try that. Betchapat Economics. All right. Let's go to the super chats if we got them. Cyberbully, $5. I strongly believe that most of our problems stem from a shortage of thin women to date, both social and economic. I don't most, but a lot. I'd go with this, a plurality, like of all the pie charts of the problems of the United States. The single largest piece of pie, though not the majority, is that, men and women are not getting together anymore. And it's largely because women, either through genetics or feminist conditioning, are told not to want men. They're told not to have, and for the simple fact that if you don't have kids in the future, you don't have as big of an economy, which I don't care how big the economy is, especially if I'm not there for it, because I won't be there in the future. But culturally, yeah. And if you want, I'll tell you this, 100%. I don't care what you do with the interest rates at the Federal Reserve. You know what would get men to produce a lot more? One, lower our taxes, and two, have a hot woman at home or hot women to date and go after. And I know it's going to be, and to also be nice women, right? Because if it doesn't matter how good look, I'm not going to meet Selma Hayek. That's not to say she's a mean person. I'm just never going to meet her, right? But let's say there's a really cute girl, down the street. And I'd like to ask, but if she's mean, well, I'm not going to. But yes, you got to give men a reason to fight. That's why the pinups in World War II were hot chicks. That's why they sent, who was the hot gal, the redhead? What was her name, to Vietnam? And she entertained the troops. They didn't send Lizzo to entertain the troops. They sent the hot chick to entertain the troops. Reen, $10. Hard economic times are here. Women going back to nature. Maybe. Tim Pool just did a video talking population collapse again. Can we stop talking about population collapse, right? Are we going to stop it? No. I've offered, ladies, if you want my seed, you can have my seed for 2 million after tax. After tax, and you can have as many little Clary babies as you'd like. As long as you're raising them and I have nothing to do with them. That's awfully hard. I don't care. So we now have reached the milestone of women alone with no kids. They see it. Um, no, I don't give them that much focus or vision. I think young women are looking at the elder women saying they're miserable and I don't want that life. I don't think they get down to the point of agency and purpose and how kids would give you, the number one thing in your life and falling in love with a man. I'll be perfectly honest. I think all the young women in Gen Z are in the exact same position young men in Gen Z are. Food, clothing, shelter. Right? When I was young, I didn't have the money. I had to eat. I had to pay rent. I could go to parties. I think especially now there's more inflation than there was back then. They don't have the luxury of, well, maybe I'll get married and have kids. They're like, God damn, I need to find a job that pays enough that I can afford rent. Oh, let me vote Democrat and flood more people the country with, why are wages so low? But Democrat teachers said to. So we now have reached a milestone of women alone with no kids. They see it. I don't think they see it. I think they're blinded by or occupied with much more important things, right? I never wanted kids because I didn't have financial stability. A very short version. Like when you're starving, you're kind of like, yeah, you don't think about kids. If anything, you think about, I need to get a condom. Well, this girl better be on birth control. Cyberbully, $5. I'm 28 and date girls 18 to 22-ish. They are slightly more traditional. Right. It's not a huge change, but it's plateaued. It's not getting worse. But it's mostly for economic reasons. They can't afford the feminist lifestyle. Well, okay, however, but they're getting there. They're getting there. Chad Twizzler stroke. 10 generous dollars. I think some of that stay-at-home wife homestead trend is yes, it is. Some of it is. They wanted to show, but hubby makes it come true by doing all the work. That's why that's what my Christian girl ex-fiance wanted. Right. And this is a problem with the internet, right? I don't believe TikTok girls anymore. You're just doing it for clicks. You're horrible, disgusting people throwing fire on an already raging fire of hate, essentially, between the sexes. Those girls should go the fuck away. And there are there's one blonde gal in particular where it's so over the top. It's BS. But then I see real women who aren't done up with their cleavage showing, and they're just spitting straight facts about men and women. And you start to see it's not an uncommon thing now to see on the internet coming from a young woman. I actually just want to be a stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home mom. That in other words, that monopoly, like if you said that was blasphemy, and women would come after you largely socially and shame you. Now that's broken. Just like girl boss was all the rage and slamming on pick-me's were all the rage. Yeah, you don't hear girls bragging about being girl bosses no more, right? I don't know the last time I heard, oh my God, you're just a pick-me. You could be as miserable as those women over on female dating strategy, if that's a thing anymore. Reen, $5. Small anecdotal evidence on my end. I'm seeing more young women at church. Yeah, thank you, Reen. That's another. Yes. I see a lot of younger people going to church. Yes, thank you. Good observation. Whether it's genuine or not, I don't know, but young 20s, not the early 30s. Yeah, I think the church attendance is up. Oh my God, your church is the Democrat, Marxist, socialist government didn't provide you purpose and meaning. I got my problems with religion. But at least the church only asked for 10%. The government, if you don't know, ladies, you could expect to pay about 38% of your money in taxes. The government wants just shy of 40%. Ken Rose, he says hi for $2. Thank you, Ken. Hello, Ken. Jeremy Lewis, $5. Millennial parents are still lying to kids. I noticed even the young children are realizing something is amiss. They know Marvels for wine aunts. Oh, wait, Marvel? You mean the movies, the Marvels is for wine-ons? It's sad, but you see a lot of these kids like, hey, cut your gender. And, what was it? The shooting over in the Twin Cities. Yeah, very permissive liberal parents or the dad anyway, I guess. You have to read through it. I'm not accusing, it's just like there was an article written. Hey kids, you wanna like, does the popularity train ever end? Right? In middle school, you had to have the Cavarishi pants, and then you get to college and you had to have your tips frosted, and then you got into the 20, you got had that SUV, and then you got to get the McMansion, and now you got to have your kids cut their junk off. It's the popularity train, everybody. Like, hey, how about fuck what other people think? Huh? How about my buddy? I saw, I pull up. There he is. He's got his nice little spread. Wife is there, and this little girl, oh, what was she, 3 years old? And I think she just liked seeing company because she immediately took a liking to me and she wanted to show me her pet rabbit. No joke. He got a little harness and she got this little walking rope with this little rabbit. And he's hopping along with him. Like, this is my rabbit. I forget the rabbit's name. I'm like, how the fuck is this not awesome? Your kid's got a pet rabbit and the rabbit's domesticated. It's following the kid around. Will you go down? He made him a tree fort with a slide because he's a dad. Will you go down the slide? I'm like, is that going to support my weight? He's like, yeah, it'll support your weight. I'm like, okay. I went down. Ah! Well, at least you 42-year-old Baron Karen sitting in the HR meeting, at least you got martini night over at happy hour today, right? Meanwhile, there's this kid with a pet rabbit excited when an adult goes down a slide. I don't even have kids. I'll take that any day. Chi-Town Biker. Hey, man, what's up? $10. The modern woman bubble will pop. Pick them up a dime a dozen. I don't know if it'll pop when you think they're going to admit they're wrong and come to the dating market. We're talking the modern woman. So we're talking about the age of 40, pretty late epiphany stage. Oh, you're right. Now I'm going to lose the weight and get rid of my tattoos and start being pleasant. You think that's going to happen, Chi-Town? You think so? You're a little bit, I know you're like 10 years younger than me. We'll see. We'll see. I I am going to disagree on the theory that once your youth is all gone, you're going to double down on it because that's all these women have. They don't have religion, they don't have family, they don't have happy, they don't have real careers. They're just going to double down on the feminism. That's all they're going to do. Younger women might be smarter than the older women, which is not that high of a hurdle now. You just have to adhere to reality. Younger women might say, no, I don't want to be a 59-year-old thrice divorced, piss through all my settlements. They might come to the table like, yeah, you're right. I don't want to. They might realize I can outcompete the spray painted on plastic bitch, girl boss just by being nice and making the guy some cookies and here's what I think might happen, Chi-Town. I think this is more where they're going to come back. I think women are going to get smart enough, the younger ones, to find a guy who's like, let's say, going to medical school and he's busting his ass off and he's working really hard. I think girls are going to realize, if I just make him some cookies, you don't have to make him some, you just have to bring him some cookies, right? The shit ones you get at the grocery store, like they just go to where he's working his night shift as a resident or an intern or whatever. And like, here, I brought you some cookies. I think that might, instead of, honey, instead of vinegar, it might have. I remember working together. No girl brought me food. Not in college. No girl ever brought me. And then you look back and like, wait, if you why here's a start. Could you not really? Maybe girls just didn't like Cappy enough to bring them food. No, sad face. Yeah, I don't think the modern women are gonna come crawling back. I just don't think so. I think they're too committed. Space Cowboy, 10 generous dollars. As a millennial, I think millennial women are even worse than their mom. Yeah, sure, I guess. Diving headfirst into political ideology, giving up on family, overworked and too prideful to submit to anything. I think we're splitting hairs. I just think it's the latest generation, right? Is a newer car better than the older car because it's the latest generation, has the latest technology, or adjusted for time? Is it, and look, again, I'm a libertarian. If you don't want to have anything to do with men, that's fine. It's your life. I'm not gonna think you're worse. I mean, what do you mean worse? Like, you're not gonna have a man in your life? You're gonna reject men? Yeah, it's your choice. I don't care. I would here, short version to the younger gals out there, I think you'll be happier with a man in your life. And I think you should prioritize that man over other things in life without sacrificing those other things, right? They make it sound like you can either choose a man or have a career. No, you can have both. Just one has to kind of come before the other. And you can't wait until you're 35 and all your youth and beauty is going to say, no, it's time to find a man. No, that starts at, like, 18, I guess, I guess you could find your husband in high school. Kind of do that while you're young and you got your youth. If you want to have kids, do it while you're younger. Your eggs are better when you're younger. And then when the kids are kind of like, third, fourth grade and off to school, then you become an accountant, then go to medical school, then I'm going to go to college until I'm 27, and then I'm going to fly around the world and suck foreign dick, and then I'm going to go into debt, and then I'm going to get myself a condo, and then at 43 and a half, then I'll find a husband and start my family. Reen, $5. Now, the real question, Cappy says, Gen Z women due to change. Will it matter? I'm not sure Gen Z men will change the laws. A decade of messaging. Yeah, I think a lot of, look, it took us 60 years to get here, 70 years to get here. It's going to take at least a couple decades to get back. And you're going to have to change some, like, if you want institutions like marriage to come back, sure. You can't have this shit where, oh, yeah, you lose half your shit because reason. No, no. But those are institutions and laws that we need to be changed. What needs to be changed is at the cellular level, the individual humans, both men and women, will have to realize, well, we're not the enemy of each other. Or we have our disagreements with one another, but we can all agree we don't want to be these miserable feminists. We don't want to be those people. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have kids or being a stay-at-home parent, the husband or the wife. I'm wondering if Gen Z women are starting to realize that they're allowed to like men again. Like, it's okay if you like men. This is not going to happen in 5 years. Best outcome, by the time I'm dying in about 30 years' time, you'll be like, oh my God, the nuclear family is kind of making a comeback. The birth rate is going up. The divorce rate is going down. But I don't think there's going to be marriage. I think both men and women are just going to cohabitate because that's what the trend has been. Forza Italia, 10 generous dollars. Gen Z women, in my experience, dating and hanging out with them are more delusional and are basically Soviet communists, and the men are moving very far. Pizza party, right? Okay. I'm curious logistically, where are you, in a major metro? Because I mean, you're probably right. If you're near a campus, oh yeah, you're major metro, sure. But I don't know. There are fringe Gen Z women who are becoming a little bit, in some ways, more traditional. Space Cowboy, $5. Gen X women are raising their adult children, plus their grandkids, plus other women's kids. Yeah, isn't it great? I'm not gonna be a stay-at-home mom, and then their kids live at home until they're 32, and then their jobs is largely taking care of other women's children. I have to work a job so I can pay somebody else to raise my children, because she has to work the job raising other people's children so that she can afford to pay other women to pay her children, just like me. Or you can all stay the fuck home, lower taxes, and just live off the guy's income for about 18 years. You can raise your own kids. There's no commute. Did you know the kids stay there? Yeah, the kids, just so you know, your kids don't have to be raised by complete strangers. Reen, $5. There's a thing, Gen Z trend called grandma core. My sister told me about it. It's where they take up old school hobbies like sewing and baking. Okay, there you go. There's nothing wrong with it. I guess it's better than drinking and party. Oh my God. There's another thing, okay, booze consumption. That's gone way down. Now, I know pot's gone up, but, it's not the worst thing for you. Frank, $5. My Gen Z coworkers still dunk on Trump. They do like men, though. Might see a dual income relationship akin to working class couples. Yeah, then women are not voting Republican anytime soon. That's true. You know why young women are not going to be voting Republican anytime soon? Because they were told to. They were told not to vote Republican. That's why. I thought about. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Since day one, your parents and teachers have told you not to vote Republican. That's because your most valuable thing is being a Democrat. Reen, $5. Well, even if this is true, men are still going to have to relearn the new rules again. So, ladies, be patient. Realize the damage your sisters did. I think the guys know the rules. I think truly guys are just sitting out on this one. Yeah, I know men are a bit more cowardly and they're afraid to reject, but I think that's only 20% of it. 80% of it, the men are just like, I'm not interested in this. Again, just as the internet is showing women, yeah, it's okay if you want to be a stay-at-home mom. The internet showed, like, yeah, you guys don't have to tolerate this bullshit. No, it's not right for whatever. It's not right for women to get divorced. Right now, there's abuse or a reason or you're being a dick, sure. But generally, you said the words and the vows, right? It's not right for you to be stood up. It isn't. You should not be stood up. It's not right for the woman to be overweight, have a bunch of tattoos and other guy's kids, and then expect you to like come in there with grade A game. No. So men are just, to be perfectly honest, let's go 25 and up because I don't know about most guys don't want to date you. And so I think, but the red pill is definitely spread out through all the men. The rules are well known by men, and men are coming to the conclusion this is not worth playing the game. Oh my God, men develop self-respect. Like, I'm not going to a nightclub and asking a bunch of girls and yelling and screaming and losing my voice and paying for other people's drink. Fuck that. I'm going home and getting some sleep. But yeah, I think unless you're a huge simp, I think the general male population, like, no, we are getting coffee and we will see where it goes from there. No, I will not be dating a single mother. No, you're not doing drugs. I mean, you do drugs, but we aren't dating. Samson Joshua, $5. I think the way men are portrayed in various media as well as the sexist law towards men, it probably won't change anytime soon. No, the media is always, what was the latest one? The Savant, where it's a Karen in the suburbs, and all the bad guys are evil white male Republicans. It's just so tiring. Oh, you mean the guys with money and stability? Oh, those guys, because girls don't want that. Here, here's your deadbeat drug dealer with an aspiring SoundCloud rapping career. Here, go date him. Thus spake the mainstream media. Alex 2071 Voro beef. $5. And isn't it obvious the root cause of their misery? Men, yes, it's us. Men are leaving these women alone, and we're the problem. I always got a kick out of that where I said, it's like 10 years ago, right? Gen Z is just kids at that time. I'm like, are you going to blame Gen Z boys for part of the patriarchy? Because they're not part of it, right? You've beaten it out of them. They're timid. They're afraid. Are they part of the patriarchy now? They did everything you said. You still going to blame them as part of it, right? Because it's a victimhood mentality. You need your villain. You need the oppressor to be oppressed. Here, you got a penis, but I'm 8. I don't care. You're oppressing women everywhere. I just want to play with my truck. Shut up, fascist. Space Cowboy, $5. Population collapse is not a man's issue. We have no control over who is born, nor are men protesting and celebrating deletions. No, this is, I know a lot of you guys like, women don't have agency, they don't have responsibility. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is not our problem. Ladies, it's your problem. You get to solve it if you want. If you don't want to, that's fine. It will be what it will be. No, we don't want to have children. Fuck you, men. We hate you. Yeah, I'm a girl. Fine. Population dies. Culture dies out. Doesn't matter. You would say, "Yeah, you're right. This was bullshit. We've been hoodwinked. I don't want to be a miserable feminist spinster bitch like my parents. So I'm going to stay at home and raise my kids and be happy." All right, cool. But it takes two to, right? Ballroom dancing, you need two people. Can't do it without. So, ladies, you do want life is but a dance. Do you want to dance a couple? You want to dance a couple songs or not? If you don't, cool. Then men, surprise, aren't going to show up why would you go to the dance hall if none of the girls are dancing? It really it is. it, I'm not a big historian, but I think for the first time in history, lady, the ball's in your court. Ladies, you hold the future of society, whichever way it goes. You know, if you want to start having kids again, a nuclear family, we do it like humans have been doing it since the dawn of time. We abandon this stupid feminist experiment of like, oh, we don't need men. Cool. If you don't, like legitimately, if you look at history, women not always interested in men. Okay. Maybe we've evolved technologically to the point that we've created our own undoing. Like we got the technology, you don't need men, you got the welfare state, and then just boop, there's no humans after. It's not my concern, but it's going to be fun watching. 5 Canadian. It will take societal collapse for women to wake up. I tend to more agree with that. That may not happen due to collapsing birth rates if immigration doesn't do the West first. United Nerd, $5. I feels like a lot of what is pushed to young women is high time preference consumerism. Yes. Look, at 18, they want you girls going into debt to enrich academics, professors, the college and university employees, right? And you're already in debt when you come out. Then what do they want you to do? They want you to go and work, right? Pay your taxes. So the government got some foot in you. Corporations love you too because there's more people working, and that's lower. And then they're going to outsource your job to India or AI anyway. But then you work, right? And then they tell corporations, the pinnacle to tell you girls have been lied to is the number one thing. Like it's still to this day, I'd say, what do you want? What's the trophy you get? A handbag. A fucking handbag. And then your girls got to get your SUV and this and that and get your handbag. Never once are they asking you, what do you want? They're telling you what to do and what you should want. You want the handbag, don't you? Oh my God. Trisha's got the handbag. Don't you want a better handbag than Trisha? And Amy has a bachelor's degree. Don't you want a master's degree? You know whose problem that is? It's not. Look, here's the other thing. I'm not going to go tell people what to do with their money. I'm not going to. Are you crazy? I'm not going to. Hey, Becky, maybe you should. Like, no. You go live in New York City. You go into debt. I don't have time for that fucking. I'm going to go hiking. They don't invest in young men with potential as they used to. Right. And that's their choice. Jeremy Binion, 10 generous stars. You ain't related to the Binions of Vegas by chance, are you there, Jeremy? A lot of Gen Z women will get with millennial men in their 30s. That will be the future of birth rates. Maybe. Yeah. You're not at where birth rates occur. Yes. Yep. Because then the millennial men, some of which will have money and stability, then the Gen Z women at about, they're like, oh my God. That'll bump up the birth rate 0.2%. Think in time, $2. I got the Plains Warrior again. See first 4 chats. Okay. All right. I'll do that later. I gotta go do car stuff. Burbshide, 2 Australian. In several decades, South Korea is beyond cooked. Yeah, and that's an interesting. I looked into that. Like, okay, well, why are they not having sex? It's not necessarily feminism. There's such an overemphasis on education that these poor Korean kids, young people, young adults, they spend all their time going to school. No joke. So you go to high school, right? You go to regular school during the daytime as a kid, then you go to night school because you got to get into a good university. Then you go to university and you all got to get PhDs. And by the time that's done, their brains are fried. There's no fun. And a lot, there's a huge emphasis that if you have kids, the Korean companies will not hire you. Women, I mean. And so the women are like, no, after I put in all that effort and I am not going to have children. Yeah, you guys would do way too much education in South Korea. Way a big critique I have of the Asian cultures in general. It's like, "My son must become a doctor, and you must learn violin." Wow, wow. No, knock it off with the musical instruments they're never gonna use again. "But it's good for this side of the brain." Hey, hey, let them be kids. Let them go have some fun. Let them live. Let them be human, okay? I know these are bragging pieces for you because that's all you have in your value system is, "I, doctor, and I play violin, and now son must be my brother's children invited." Or you could just love your kid. This is just me. You could love your kid like, "Hey, go become a doctor or an engineer. It's cool, but, do your thing. Fall in love." Isn't it interesting all the older generations, I guess this goes across all, um, cultures, or at least between Asia and the United States, they all don't want you to fall in love, right? They really don't want you to find someone and be happy. It's all about work and bragging and politics and handbags and sports car bro and all this shit. And it's not like, hey, have you thought about being in fucking shape and being really cool and devastatingly charming and nice and sweet and kind? So you might find someone equivalent that you can go bang in the kitchen. Again, I'm pro orgasm team. But every fucking adult was like, just like, yeah, you want to fall in love with a man. Yeah, yeah, you can't learn to play the violin. You don't get laid learning to play the violin, just to let all of our Asian American kids out there know. I mean, your folks are going to tell you to play it anyway, but I just let you know, no one ever got laid playing the violin. Gio Gonzalez, $5. Work in a department with mostly women, most early to mid 30s, overweight, hate cooking, and the ones in relationship shit on their man. Yeah. It, look, another very simple thing. And maybe I should look at this. You want to know how you could tell women are getting more interested in men? You'll see their weight go down. You'll see their BMI go down. So I don't think the BMI is going to go down. I think for women, it's going to younger women. I think it's going to plateau. Um, it might slowly trend down, kind of like college, which is the right direction. But I think that would have all the indicators whether women are maybe sort of getting interested. If women are interested in men, they will lose weight. It's very simple. It's very logical. If they don't lose weight, then they're not that interested in men. They might be interested in men, but they're interested in food more. All right, there you guys go. Link below. I think I do have that book, The Menu Life Without the Opposite Sex. And then what else do I have? Link below. I don't know. Get your financial shit together. Go get my book, Bachelor Pad Economics. While the sexes are ignoring each other, the least you could do is get your finances together, right? So go get Bachelor Pad Economics, the financial advice Bible for men and women who are bold enough to read it. That's it. Oh, wait, let me make sure. Yep, that's it. All right. See you guys later, Toodles.